Welcome, everybody. This is Sherry Bowers with Connected Spirit, Connected Biz Summer Giveaway. And today I have with me Ginny Robertson. It's a delight to have you with me today. And for those that don't know you, I thought we would just start with, letting them know a little bit about how you got started in the work you do and what that looks like for them.
Sure. And thank you for having me, Sherry. I love that I got to do this with you. And this giveaway is just very cool. So thank you so much. I'm
Mhm.
Ginny Robertson, and I am the founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and the founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. So you can tell from that everything I do is about women in purpose, but it's primarily for women entrepreneurs. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to participate. But I started this organization 25 years ago. It came out of a party I did at my house. I had done this huge event for someone else. I was involved in a huge event, and I met some of the coolest women, and I thought, well, they should know each other and I want to know their friends. And I had a party at my house. It was before the internet, so I sent out, before I had
Mhm.
the internet at least, and I sent out handwritten invitations, and all it said, it had the date and it says, show up, bring food. And it was a Saturday afternoon, and my family room, which is quite substantial, was overflowing. There were a little over 60 women who showed
Oh,
up.
wow.
And it was quite amazing. It was very cool. I didn't know we were networking because my networking had always been very corporate driven and very serious. And I thought, well, I'm going to do this every year because I like ritual, and I think it'd be kind of cool to do, once a year. And the women who are there going, you can't wait. There's something magical going on here. So I did
Hmm.
it for 4 quarters. And two really interesting things happened that has me doing what I do today. One is that women were connecting in a way I had not experienced. My corporate background was in corporate finance. I was very buttoned down. It was very male dominated. It was, masculine. I have a lot of masculine energy anyway, which I like, but I just didn't have that many women friends. And there were women were talking about things that mattered. It wasn't just what I like to call idle cocktail chatter. you know
Right, right.
it was like, what do you care about? Why do you do what you do?
Mhm.
And so that was pretty cool. But the thing that wasn't so great is that I gave every woman an opportunity to stand up and say a few words about herself. There were a lot of women there who were not entrepreneurs. It was not geared to, it was just women. Some of
Mhm.
the women were, though, and there were a number of them who had such a difficult time doing that. They didn't want to stand. They looked at their feet. They used that tiny little voice. They couldn't
Yep.
project. And quite frankly, it both kind of saddened me and kind of pissed me off a little bit because I'm thinking, somebody has told these women something about themselves, and they apparently bought it, and
Yeah.
they shouldn't buy it. I want to change that. And so I said to myself, what would happen if you take this out of the house, create an organization, and give women a place to show up and practice being who they really are?
I love
And
it.
the next year, a year to the date, I had my very first in-person meeting of the community. It was called On Purpose Networking for Women back then. And I didn't know who would show up, but it's started to be women entrepreneurs because they were finding, especially if they were doing more holistic work, they were finding that they weren't getting necessarily respect in some other communities, or they were getting these weird looks, or like, what? Massage?
Yeah.
Ooh, even
Exactly.
massage
Yep.
was. And so they were finding a home there. And then, I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did the next thing that felt right. And here we are 25 years later.
I love stories like this.
I do too.
To me, it's just, if we pay attention to those little nudges we get and we just follow them, it can be magical, It's
It
just,
sure can
I love
be.
it.
Yeah. It can be really scary too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we make mistakes and nothing's fatal usually. And so, like I said, I just did that next thing. And I was so inspired by the women who were showing up and what they were doing out there in the world, that's what kept me going all this time.
Hmm.
Here I
Hmm.
am all these years. I was just a child, obviously, when I started. All these many years later. And then the magazine, I started that about 5 years later. It was a print magazine initially, distributed
Hmm.
around the state of Maryland. I had 12 meetings at one time, every month around the state. And so it was in all the locations where we had meetings. We had about 30,000 copies, and it was free, paid for with advertising. And then, because it's been like 6 years ago now, I took it online because
Hmm.
I lost a lot of my distributors and all that. And it was just
Yeah.
getting harder and harder to make money with print. And so, and that carbon footprint, I was not really liking what I was doing with that every issue either. So it's
Yeah.
much easier now. Everybody around the world can see it.
Yeah.
And I guess I should also say, the mission of my organization could have started with that, is to connect women around the world to their gifts, their purpose, and each other. And so, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, taking it online, just that lets you do that.
it
You know,
does. And
exactly
it's
that.
prettier. You can do a better job online
Yeah.
as well. There's a lot more flexibility. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, I mean, you're still, you've kind of touched on that you mainly ended up with a lot of the entrepreneurial women in
Mhm.
what, not the alternative, but the
More holistic, I guess is
holistic.
a good
Yeah, thank
word.
you.
Yeah,
Couldn't find the
yeah.
word. And are you still finding that tends to be your main group at this point? I would think
I
so.
am. I
It's probably
am.
expanding even.
Yes. And it's not really about what they do, it's how they do it, because we can have,
Mhm.
you can have holistic accountants and holistic attorneys, right? They don't
Yeah,
have to necessarily be doing energy work or acupuncture or things like
yeah,
that. So it's more of a women who are coming from their heart, who are serious about their work, but yet they want to, kind of do what you're doing here, Sherry, give gifts and help people, especially other women, get ahead and support them. And so that's the kind of women usually
yeah.
attracted to what I do.
Yeah, it's kind of, to me, it's almost, well, it's just that heart-centered approach,
It is.
which
It
is,
is.
I think, a little more softer, a little more less, that cut and dried,
Yeah.
heavy masculine energy that we're all kind of used to.
And my when I started out, I knew more about what I didn't want than what I did want. So I
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
I didn't want it to be a place where people just walked around and passed out their business cards. So I discouraged that. I said, wait until you have a reason to give someone your card. Have a
yeah,
conversation. Because I'd been to events where people would actually interrupt conversations to hand you their card. And, I'd go home with this. Really, the main reason I felt like doing it differently is I would go home with a stack of cards and I would go through them and I wouldn't have a clue who some of the people were. So I never followed up. They would sit on my desk. I would feel guilty for the money and time I spent doing it.
right,
And again, trying to connect with people before the internet, it's phone calls, and how was I going to call them? I didn't know who they were. We hadn't had a
right, right.
conversation. So I took some of that anxiety out of networking and just let women do what we do naturally, which is come from our curiosity
Yeah,
and
yep,
our willingness to listen and ask questions and, want to know. And it's worked. And I'm so happy to see that seems to be almost like the norm now out there. I think there are more organizations doing it that way than there are not. So I think that's shown a real shift over the years.
that's wonderful. So you've got the online organization and the online, what used to be print, but now the magazine that's
Mhm.
online. Are
Yeah.
those like really your main services, or do you also offer, what all do you offer?
Okay.
As
Well,
far
when the pandemic hit, I was doing 9 meetings in person, and then there were a couple in some other states, and I took everything on Zoom. I was already doing 2 Zoom meetings. And so I just opened up my first in person again last year locally in Columbia, Maryland. I'm in Maryland. And then some women started a group in Tallahassee, Florida. So there's an in-person group
Mm,
there. But I have 8 opportunities every month for women to show up on my Zoom meetings. And they're called connections over coffee, connections after hours, and connections through conversation. So you can tell it's all about connections.
I love that.
And they are free. They're free. You can come as often as you want, as many times as you want. And there are membership opportunities in the community, because I like to, like you mentioned before we got on, that you were going to kind of spotlight me today.
Hmm.
I'm all about spotlighting women and giving them opportunities to be seen and heard in greater ways. So that's really the basis for the organization. And all the ways that I do it are, the magazine. And I also do have a talk show on YouTube. I do Facebook Lives and then they go up on YouTube. And I'm an
What's
author and I'm a
what
speaker.
what's the talk show name?
It's
So if
called the
somebody wants,
Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show. And
awesome.
it's on our
Okay.
channel, which is On Purpose Woman Global Community. That's the easier way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't
It's
want that piece
okay.
to
It's
go
okay.
away.
I was the lead author in a compilation collaborative book actually last August called On Purpose Woman, Complete Holistic Guide for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. And I
Nice.
also do other writing, and I'm a speaker and a facilitator. So yeah, I do it all.
Nice. Yeah. Many hats, many
Many hats.
hats.
Yes.
Um, so you've got a wonderful gift that you're offering. Go ahead and tell everybody about that. And the link will be below the video that
Yes,
people
I
can
love
grab
this
it.
gift because I love doing this program. I developed this program, I'm thinking about 8 years ago, and I do
Mm,
it twice a year, and it's called Your Next 100 on Purpose Days. It's done in a Facebook group. It's 100 days of doing this program however you want to do it. There are no have-tos. There is accountability, but it's to yourself. Some women
hmm
start to feel like they've made themselves accountable to some other women, but there's no, why didn't you show up in the group today? But I go in every morning and I do a prompt and I give them something to think about, and they can respond or not. And
hmm
the very kind of organic thing that happens within the group. I ask women to come in and be clear on something they want to be different at the end of the 100 days. It could be personally, professionally, or both. But
Uh-huh.
and then every week I have them focus on that and come up with 3 steps or maybe 4 steps. I don't remember now, that they're going to take that week. And then there's just all kinds of opportunities for self-awareness, for increased self-awareness. I also spent, in between my corporate background, which is in corporate finance, and starting this, I spent a few years as a facilitator for a transformational seminar company. So I love giving women opportunities to have aha moments and get clear on
Yeah.
their journey, get clear on their purpose, get clear on what matters to them. So the things that I offer have that opportunity, women have the opportunity to maybe learn more about themselves and to also make great things happen. I've gotten
Yeah.
some, amazing testimonials. I have a couple of women who've done it every single time because they know it works and they really love it. And also the networking within the group is also really kind of stellar, because you get to know people at a very different level
Yeah.
than if you're just doing a Zoom call and everybody's kind of got their, they're more of their fancy pants on rather,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and it's perfectly great for a woman to come into the group, the 100-day group, and say, I'm really struggling with something right now, or I haven't made any
Yeah.
progress at all on that. Or she'll be beating herself up, and and I'm pretty good at asking those questions that maybe somebody hasn't thought about. Rather than giving answers, I like to ask questions and say,
Yeah. Because that
slow it
helps,
down.
you can just you get that moment where things shift and it's like all of a sudden you can look at it from a different angle or
Yeah.
different perspective and just it changes everything. So that's so powerful and
Floats my
so
boat when it happens, I
wonderful.
tell you. It just
Yeah.
makes me go, oh, yeah.
Like, yay. That's so wonderful. Um, how can somebody reach out to you? What's the best way that they can reach out to you if they really want to learn more or talk to you personally or anything
I'll send them over
like
to
that?
my website because you can read the magazine there. You can read the current issue and all the previous issues since we've gone online.
Hmm.
And you can also find out when the community meets and why we meet and some other things there. You can, what else can you do there? You can get the link to the talk show. Everything's there. Except
Perfect.
there's nothing there about this program because it changes twice a year. And I just don't want to keep updating the website for that purpose. So
And you need to sign up for the gift below.
you need to sign up for the gifts below, and get on there, and I will
Yeah.
start, I'll make sure that, because it starts on September 2nd, but the doors open 2 weeks early. So the women can start coming in and maybe chatting about what it is they want to create, get
Hmm.
some ideas, and just be ready so that on September 2nd, we're kind of, just getting started for real,
Uh-huh.
officially. And so that's on my website, which is opwgc.com. That's On Purpose Woman Global Community, opwgc.com. You can find it there.
Wonderful.
And my email, you can click on the little link that says, send me an email. You
Contact you.
can do that.
Mhm.
And I'd love to chat with you.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me to kind of hear about what you do and how you do it. It's wonderful. And I know I've got connections with at least one person that's been in your group, and it's just been she's a fabulous woman and just fabulous
Andrea,
work. Yep.
Andrea, yes, I've
So,
known Andrea when she lived in Baltimore years ago. I've known Andrea
so,
for 20 plus years. That's how I heard about your giveaway.
well, wonderful.
And I think
And
you
that right
found,
there is a testament to, the work that somebody does when you've got people that are with you for that length of time.
yes,
That
yes,
says a lot.
it does. It
So,
does. Thank you.
so everybody watch, if you're watching this on the giveaway or on the YouTube channel, make sure you um click the link below the video. It'll either be in the comments on YouTube or under in the giveaway event. Make sure you sign up for her gift and look forward to hearing all about any new unfoldment that happens
Thank you. And let me
before the
just
next
make
one.
sure everybody's clear that this is a
Yeah.
women-only group, and so this
Mm,
100 day is also women only, because I just find that works really well, for especially when you're doing some deeper work.
yep. I get it.
I love I got a great guy right next door here, and I love him, but yeah, sometimes it just needs to be we girls.
Yep. All right. Thanks again for being on, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see everybody on the next spotlight. Thank
Yes.
you.
Bye.